Hello, it's you again. I'm Daniel. This is Chris, and you're watching the Superhero Show. Now, this week, 4 really big stories. Actually, quite a lot of stories happened this week.
Lots of news.
And we're just going to go through the news, bringing you the news.
Yeah, news
roundup. A few days later, where more news will have happened, then we look hopelessly out of date. So, Chris, you want to go first?
Let's talk about Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Who's been talking about female superheroes. There's been a lot of chat about ladies this week in the superhero universe.
What's all Kevin been saying?
Mr. Feige's chipped in talking to Comic Book Resources. He's kind of said, yes, there should be superhero movies starring females, and then said, but we've got no plans at the moment. That's the gist of it.
Is it a bit of a cop-out answer?
He says, I very much believe in doing it. I very much believe that it's unfair to say people don't want to see movies with female heroes, then list 5 movies that were not very good. I guess he's talking about things like Elektra, Catwoman, stuff like that, which agreed aren't particularly good films, but that doesn't mean to say...
there's been equally bad superhero films with male leads.
Indeed, and there's been great kind of high concept action films that have had females in the lead. He talks about Hunger Games, Frozen, Divergent, Kill Bill, Aliens.
Yeah.
So, he said, we find ourselves in the strange position of managing more franchises than most people have, which is a very, very good thing, and we don't take that for granted, but it is a challenging thing. You have to put one franchise on hold for 3 or 4 years in order to introduce a new one. I hope we do it sooner rather than later.
Well, he's the man in control, and at least he's saying the right things. I suppose the difficult thing, even if he wants to do that right now, for that to translate into the screen, that is a 3-4 year kind of initiative, because they've already taken years to get the Avengers stuff up and running, and they've started the next phase of stuff. If he wants to translate that into a reality, there's going to be a delay.
Yeah, they've spent 10 years on Ant-Man.
Yeah. But
equally, Black Widow's in quite a good position if they did want to... make a movie of her. There's not too much that needs to be done.
In some ways, I would argue that Winter Soldier is she is the co-lead of that movie, even though it is explicitly called Captain America and the Winter Soldier gets a subtitle. You could quite easily be Captain America and Black Widow.
Yeah.
Again, not the pithiest titles.
No.
So you probably wouldn't use that. But she's a major player in that film.
She's great. She comes into her own in that movie.
I just worry if she had her own spin-off film. Not that her character isn't engaging enough. Just maybe the story wouldn't be just doing.
But it depends what characters they bring in around her.
Yeah, they could do
more
of a team-up movie. Yeah. But again, you would say, it's Black Widow and friends. But yeah.
But what I would say to Mr. Feige is actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
Do it. It's all very well saying all this stuff, but do it.
It's on you, Kevin.
But there has been some lady chat this week.
There is elsewhere
in the SpiderMan universe, I believe.
Right.
Daniel.
Yes. So. Sony Pictures are moving around all the Spider-Man films quite a lot these days.
Yeah.
So Amazing Spider-Man 3 is getting pushed back from 2016 to 2018. I'm going to say it right now. I wonder when that'll ever happen. That's just hearsay. That's my opinion. But
4 years away.
4 years away. You need to sustain that momentum, and Garfield's he's not getting any younger.
Would it be time for another reboot already?
Yeah, I just feel like
he'll start off as a toddler in the next one.
Yeah. Not even striking while the iron's lukewarm.
Yeah.
So what's going to fill these gaps? So the theory is that in 2016 you're going to have the Sinister Six, which is directed by Drew Goddard, who did Cabin in the Woods, and then in 2017 they're going to do a spin-off Spider-Man movie with a female lead. That is the current theory. Now that's big news, really. Yeah. So again, the speculation for the minute, but that's what Sony's plans are, and who that could be. On site, we listed a bunch of potential candidates that Sony own the rights to as part of having the Spider-Man license. But the Silver Sable, Stunner, Firestar, but Spider-Woman even. But for me, there's only one real contender, which is Black Cat, because Felicity Jones has a kind of expanded cameo in Amazing Spider-Man 2. She's Harry Osborn's kind of assistant, and it seems like they've established her and cast her already. Yep. So that could be a possibility. She's a good actress. Yeah, it's unlikely to be these other ones. They're hardly household names. I suppose that's, obviously we've talked about Sony's plans for Spider-Man before, and they're trying to fast-track a universe. This is one angle where they could kind of get ahead of Marvel. And DC. And DC, to some extent, is by doing the first big female lead superhero movie. Of this generation. The second generation. Second wave. Yeah, who'd have thought that? I would have thought it would have been Wonder Woman way before any of these other characters are being talked about, but it's interesting. And wasn't there some stuff about Venom Carnage as well this week? Yes, so again, I think that is scheduled currently for 2017 as well. So
Right.
they'll put it in the same year as the spin-off movie. So I don't know if it supplants it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be called Venom anymore. It's going to be Venom Carnage.
Venom Carnage.
That's the current rumour. Which I thought they would do that anyway. I think when we had the producers Avi Arad and Matt Tolmach in, I asked them about Carnage because they started to tease it on the Daily Bugle Tumblr.
Yep.
And Cletus Cassidy would appear some way. And when I said, could you introduce Carnage through Venom? And they were kind of hinting that would make sense.
Yep.
It's a bit of a no-brainer. Especially if you're making a movie where Venom is kind of the hero, Carnage may be a good opponent for him to take on.
But these all sound more interesting to me than a straightforward Spider-Man 3 movie.
Yeah, well, good, because they pushed that way back, Chris.
Yeah.
You got
Well,
the next one?
interesting times at Sony. Okay, so there's a new video from the set of Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, and in it we can see a grey-haired Ben Affleck as billionaire Bruce Wayne. So it's kind of what we all thought. We're saying this every week. It's what we think. It's going to be.
It just is.
It's going to look like The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I think it's beyond all doubt. And again, kind of echoing what we said before, it's good. It sets it apart from the most recent incarnations of Batman on the screen. Even if, like, Dark Knight Rises kind of depicted an older Batman, this is giving you the Batman that you kind of wanted Nolan to give you at some point, i.e. the guy who's been doing the job for a long period of time. He's been Batman. He's done all this stuff. He's been around for like 20, 30 years, which is some of the rumours that are going around, that he's done it all. So, and also, if this then goes into the Justice League, that's quite cool having that kind of grizzled Batman who will be world wearied, have the kind of experience on all these like young guys.
A father figure.
Yeah.
The video also features the rubble of a Wayne Financial building in Superman's hometown of Metropolis.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes you think that maybe it'll be set just after the events of Man of Steel.
It was ruined everything.
Yep. Bloody Man of Steel.
He's a liability. He's a liability.
So yeah, that we could be getting a bit more of an idea of the timeline.
Yeah, do you want to know more about the timeline of Dawn of Justice?
And the other DC movies, maybe.
Yeah, so Dawn of Justice was coming out in May of 2016, going head-to-head with Captain America, but they've brought it forward to March now. It will now come out on March 25th.
That's early.
2016. That's really early.
That's early for a superhero movie.
It's getting earlier and earlier. Like, I remember when Iron Man started coming out in April, you're like, oh, that's early.
Yeah.
March.
I think it's because the summer holidays here don't start till about June, do they? So it doesn't really feel... It's Easter holidays, isn't it?
It's just March.
It's pre-Easter.
Yeah, so there's going to be possibly an Easter movie.
Well, that's
so
interesting, because this was a big battle royale between the two studios, and Batman blinked first.
Yeah. Do you perceive it like that, or...
It's jostling, no, it's business behind the scenes. But I think it does say a lot which studio decides. If they both set down their marker, they'll be...
They actually did a show on that, about them going head-to-head, like who would theoretically win, and one has moved.
One has moved. What else is going on in that world, though? Because it seems that...
apparently, according to Box Office Mojo, 9 more untitled DC movies and 2 event films have also gotten dates. I assume the event films are the crossovers?
Yeah.
They're all untitled. It's the same stuff as we did for Marvel a few weeks back.
This is annoying.
It's just, I think they assume people are really busy and they just give you loads of dates. So they go from 2016 right up to 2020, and it's just dates and an untitled DC film. I've got nothing more for you. It could be anything, Chris.
Well, should we make a date?
And they can maybe never happen.
I'm really looking forward to the one on April 3rd, 2020. The one on June 19th, 2020, I'm not so sure about.
Yeah. April 5th, 2019 could be a classic.
Yeah, should we make a date for... That's my brother's birthday, so should we make a date for that and go with my bro?
Okay, so yeah. What we'll do is all these untitled films, we'll do a ranking of them on IGN next week. Okay.
But this all means absolutely nothing, doesn't it? Because...
it's a good one to end on then.
But as we've seen from the Spider-Man thing, Spider-Man 2 didn't do the business they wanted to this summer, so they shift Spider-Man 3 back and change...
It's all contingent, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's maybe something more for shareholders and business bods than really, audience members like ourselves.
And people like us who need to fill time at the end of the superhero show.
Awkward.